Welcome to the Be Empowered interview series with your host, Rashida Kamaria Williams.
Hello, hello. It's Rashida Kamaria Williams, Chief Empowering Officer for Empowered Flower Girl, and we are back with another episode of the Be Empowered interview series. As you know, I connect with change makers across the US and Canada who are making a difference in the world and who are using their gifts and talents to give back. And today I am extremely excited about our guest. This is my first time actually connecting with her live. We've connected via email, but I am super excited to have the amazing Shayla Burtin, who is the founder of Building Her Dream, the platform that you all definitely need to engage with and learn more about. And she's here to tell us more about the work that she is doing. So, thank you so much for joining me today, Shayla. It is definitely an honor to have you as a guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so I absolutely admire the work that you're doing with women, especially the movement basically that you have created for women like me who identify as introverts. And that often
Yeah.
is surprising. That's often surprising for people. They're like, "What, Rashida? You're an introvert? I can't believe it." But there are many of us who identify as introverts, although we may work in very public spaces. But I want to know what inspired you to create the space for women like us, and basically, how did it begin?
Yeah, great question. I started building her dream about 2 years ago. I actually had another business. My background is in HR and operations, and I was getting my most of my clients for that business through like referral and word of mouth, which is great, but it's not really sustainable. Like sometimes those referrals run
Yep.
out. And
Mhm.
so I was trying to figure out like how do I get more eyes on my business because marketing is not my strong suit. I like to be behind the scenes just doing my work and that's it. But I knew I needed to kind of promote myself more, get my face out there more. But I was struggling with how to do that. I had talked to many marketing professionals over the years, and they would say, you have to you have to post on social media a couple of times a day. You should do live videos.
Oh, the
You
dreaded
should,
lives. Oh,
yes,
I
yes.
absolutely dread live videos, but I know they're necessary.
Mm, but they aren't though. They're helpful, like they do work, but it's not the only way, right?
This
To
is
market
true.
your business. But, that's what they said that I had to do. People would tell me to go attend large networking events and do that as well to promote my business and just a lot of things that really weren't catered to my personality. And so, yeah, I could try to do those things, but would I be successful? Is the question. But anyway, so I was trying to figure out like, well, then what could I do? How do I get interviews? Like I was seeing other people getting articles written about them and their
Yeah.
business, and I'm like, okay, well, how do I do that? I can't afford a PR professional, and so I was trying to figure that out. That was my problem, and I am a natural problem solver. And so as I was just thinking about all of this, I just got the idea like, well, what if I created my own media platform for
Wow.
women like me? Because I know I'm
Brilliant
not the only
idea.
one, yeah, who who's looking for an opportunity to talk about
Mhm.
their business and their impact. And so I got the idea to create a website where I would interview other introverted women, and I wasn't sure if like this was something worthwhile doing. So I just made a post in the Facebook group asking if anybody would be interested in sharing their story. And I was overwhelmed by the amount of responses that I got pretty quickly from other introverted women who were like, "Oh, this is a great idea. Thank you for doing this. How can I be featured? How can I support?" And so, yeah, that was how the idea started. And it was initially just supposed to be just a website, a random thing that I would do on the side. But as I continued to connect and meet different introverted women, and just listen to like the things that they were struggling with and the support they needed, I realized, okay, this might be an actual business.
Absolutely.
um, and so now it is my main business. I say it's a media platform and a community that celebrates and supports introverted women, whether they are entrepreneurs or career professionals, just building their dream life their way.
I absolutely love that. Is that is spectacular. That it grew from a website to a movement. I know there are many of us who are social entrepreneurs, business owners, and other founders who, wanted to create community, right? And then it turned into something that kind of took off, right? The
Yeah.
community enjoyed it and loved it, and there's definitely a need. And I just want to thank you because you highlighted my founder story as well.
Yeah.
And I just loved how beautifully written it was. So shout out to you for that. You have some great skills there. I will say this is one of the best highlights or features that I've
Really?
seen in a long time. So major props to you and the Building Her Dream platform. Um, there are so many other women who maybe are kind of on the cusp, like they don't know if they're necessarily introverts, or maybe they're an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert. But uh, whatever the case may be, there's some of us who often get overlooked.
Mhm.
Whether that's in the workplace or by potential clients. So I wanted to know, in your experience, how can we better assert ourselves, right? How can we put ourselves out there without being loud? Because I know that's one of the things that I don't necessarily like to be out there and loud and things like that.
Same.
But I do want to amplify the work that I do.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would say is really learning yourself. Where are your strengths? What are you good at? For some of us, like we are better writers
Mm.
than speakers. And so,
Oh,
what opportunities can you or what opportunities are out there for you to get your message across through writing? Like for example, if you have a business, well, you can write your articles on your website or create social media content that is just written. It doesn't have to
that's
be
true.
video. If you're in the workplace, I know a lot of introverts struggle like during meetings because we're in the meeting and everyone is speaking up and you're
Hmm.
expected to share your thoughts. But I don't know about other introverts, but I know for me, my brain processes a little bit slower. And so I need time to think. And so um, often I'm not able to speak up during the meeting, but later on, I get ideas and thoughts about whatever the subject was. And so, um, in those instances, I can also write. So I can send an email to my team after the meeting, like, hey, I was just thinking about what we discussed during the meeting, and here are my thoughts. And so that's a way to speak up as well. It also makes you look good too, because if you're still thinking about the meeting after the meeting and sharing your thoughts, that really shows like how engaged you are and how much you care. And
No, I like
so,
that. That's a good
mhm,
point because that's something that I don't think many people think about, right? And even for myself, that's not something that I necessarily thought about. It's just who I am and what I do, right? I'm a person who processes things, former journalist, and I'm a writer as well. But that's a good point that you bring up. You do appear engaged and like you actually care, right?
mhm. Yeah, yeah. So seeing just how you can use your skills in a way to speak up or share your ideas in ways that are more comfortable for you. Like I've discovered over the years that I love facilitating or teaching or hosting events. That
Mhm.
is a really strong skill set of mine that I didn't know that I had. But I just kind of discovered it over the years and now I enjoy it. So now I
Oh.
do a lot of hosting events and doing trainings and workshops, and that's how I get my expertise out there versus social media, which I don't really enjoy that much.
Yeah, I love that you said that because sometimes we think that we have to be engaging on social media all day, every day, or posting 3 to 5 times a week. And like you mentioned, if that's not necessarily your strong suit, it could feel like a lot of work. It could feel uncomfortable, and sometimes it just isn't the right platform for us. But I absolutely agree with you. I love facilitating workshops and programs as well. So I think it's important for people to really embrace the things that they're good at and the things that they actually enjoy doing. And speaking of which, I'm curious to find out what your experience was like growing up, right, as a young person, maybe back in middle school or high school. Um, what was your personal experience like as an introverted student? And how do you think that our schools can support students who, may not be as outspoken as others, but they have big dreams?
Yeah, so growing up, I definitely was the quiet kid. And I grew up in a family that was quite loud. So I was the oddball out. Um, and and I don't remember people really talking about what an introvert is, I don't remember people mentioning anything about being an introvert
Mm.
when I was quite younger. And so I felt kind of like an outsider in the world, just because I was the quieter kid. But I was also a really good kid and I got good
Yeah.
grades. Um, but I do remember like teachers commenting about how quiet I am, or I remember one teacher said that I was lethargic. And it was
Mm.
just really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But as far as like what schools can do, that's a really good question. It's something that I haven't really thought of since I've been out of school for quite
Yeah.
some time.
Or maybe even parents or adults that work with youth.
Yeah, I would say getting to know the child first, because you may discover um you may discover like different skill sets that they have that you can help and nurture. I remember that one thing that I did enjoy when I was a child was being on stage, which I know would shock like a lot of my family members if they even knew, but like I was in the drama club. And so, yeah, I
Oh.
might be quiet, but then I would get on stage and I'm singing, dancing,
Mhm.
acting. And so I wish that my parents, family, maybe even teachers kind of nurtured that. Um, and I wonder like what my life would look like now if someone did. But so that's what I think like adults could take the time to get to know the child. Yes, they may be quiet, but find out what they enjoy doing, because, they might be naturally quiet, but if you talk to them about something that they're really interested in,
Oh, yeah.
you'll be amazed at, the conversation that you can have with them.
Yeah, and I've been surprised by that as well as a mentor. The one of the young ladies, I'm just thinking back to one of the young ladies I mentored way back in the day when she was around me as an adult who was her mentor. At the time, I was in my 20s, and she was around 12 or 13. And she seemed very shy and timid around me. And I thought she was very quiet and soft spoken, which she was. Again, a good kid, very into her academics, and she seemed very responsible and disciplined. But it's so hilarious when she would hang out with my other mentees as well as my nieces, who were all teenagers at the time. They would tell me how hilarious she was and how she was a comic relief, and that she actually had such a big personality. And I was so surprised because she a little differently around me. And so um, I thought that was actually something awesome that I learned about her, that wow, she has a sense of humor and she kind of is a jokester in the way. So learning, like you said, getting to know a young person a little better can definitely help that and bring that out. So I appreciate you mentioning
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll take a little bit of patience because it may take a while for the child to open up, but I'll just go and sit next to sit next to the child, and we don't have to speak. We could just sit there. And but after a while, they'll typically open up if you feel like a safe space to them.
Yeah, exactly. That's some great advice for those who may be viewing who work with young people. Now, I want to get to something that sounds very exciting. And I actually learned about it on LinkedIn, an initiative or goal that you have. Now, many people may have heard of the summer of 69, but Shayla actually has the summer of 63. So I want to know more about this campaign that you have to get 63 introverted women into your program. I believe it's called Her Dream Society. So I definitely want to
Yeah.
hear about this goal and what we can do to support that in happening.
Yeah, so Her Dream Society is a membership community of introverted women. Um, Most of them are entrepreneurs, or they may have a full-time job, but then they have a business on the side as well. And we get together to really help each other get to the next step. So we provide support, accountability, help each other with our goals, any challenges. Um, and that's really what the community is about. And my goal this summer is to increase the membership, get some more women involved.
Okay.
And I, I'm I when you said that you were excited about it, I kind of chuckled because in my
Mm.
mind I'm like stressed about it. I've been
Right.
stressed about it.
Uh,
Um because I put the goal out there publicly, and that's a bit of
mhm.
a challenge for me. Um I typically like to just do things quietly.
Mhm.
And
I
I
feel
don't
you
like
on
to put
that.
them out there because, then people see it and then they may ask you about it. And it's like, well, what if I don't make that goal? But I decided to be brave and bold and put it out there. Really, I want to get more women into the community because I've realized over this past decade that I've been an entrepreneur, like how important it is to have support when you're trying to build something. Um, I have family, I have friends who they support me, but they don't kind of get what
Uh,
I'm going through. Like
Listen,
I can
I
tell them
understand.
about my business and they'll say, "Oh, that's amazing. That sounds great." But I don't want people to just say what I'm doing sounds great because sometimes what I'm doing is ridiculous. And so I want like real, real feedback. And so it's great to have a community of women who can just get it and understand.
I mean, I highly doubt that it's ridiculous. Maybe it's not something that maybe it's not something that you would traditionally do, but you don't come across to me as a person doing ridiculousness,
Well, you know what? I have a lot of ideas, and I get a lot of ideas that kind of distract me. And sometimes I
don't
need
you?
somebody to say, just stop it. Shayla, stop
No,
it.
I understand.
And yeah, I just need to be redirected sometimes. Um, but yeah, so it's great to have other women there. Also, because we have women who have different backgrounds and skill sets and knowledge, and that's super helpful when you're trying to grow a business, because obviously you as one person, you don't know how to do every single thing.
That part.
And yeah, and so it's great to have other women that you can bounce ideas off of, get a little advice, and don't necessarily have to like pay them, because if you think of all the support that you truly need, it could cost thousands of dollars. And so if you have somebody in the community who has a little bit of knowledge of something that you need to know, and then you also have knowledge about a topic that someone else in the community needs to know, so you can help each
Each one
other.
teach one, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I call it a good vibe tribe. We all need to have our good vibe tribe and support and uplift one another. And as they say, lift as we climb and all of those things. So I'm excited. You may be a little stressed or overwhelmed trying to get it going, but it at the end of the day, it is exciting because I think that there are so many women out there who are looking for this type of community and I'll definitely be sharing this. When I learned about it, I said, okay, well, we have to get her on the She's Empowered interview series so we can share this and get more members of the Good Vibe Tribe going.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And before we close out, I just want to make sure that people are able to get in touch with you, that they're able to support your mission and your vision. So if you can give us your website and maybe one of your social media channels that you're most active on, and I'll also include that information in the description as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are an introverted woman who's been quietly building, dreaming, or just figuring
Yes.
things out on your own, I want you to know that you don't have to do it alone anymore. And so, Building Her Dream and Her Dream Society was created for women just like you and me. And so this community is here to support you and celebrate you and help you take real steps forward on your terms. And so you can visit our website, which is buildingherdream.com. And then I would say the platform that I'm most active on is LinkedIn. And so
Ditto.
you can,
Same here. I love
yeah,
LinkedIn.
yeah, I just pick one platform and and focus on that. And so I picked LinkedIn. And so you can just search for me, Shayla Burtin, Burtin, and I'll be the only one there.
Wonderful. Well, I will say you'll be the only one there, but you won't be the only one in the Her Dream Society because we're going to get you some additional friends.
I love it. Thank
Joy.
you.
But it has been really awesome to have you as a guest and to learn more about building her dream and all the amazing things that you are doing. Thank you again for this community, and thank you for being such a bright light for women like us and those who are, still discovering who they are and where they want to be. So thank you so much, Shayla.
Yes, thank you, Rashida, for having me. It was so much fun chatting with you.
All right. Take care.